Hi NYO-U, my name is Antonio Jarvey, and I'm the saxophonist for NYO-USA, and I've had an amazing time touring with NYO-USA this summer. I am from the Big Sky state of Montana, and today I'm going to talk about how to find the perfect reed. And without further ado, let's dig in. Being a woodwind player, we are always confronted with the never-ending battle to find the perfect reed. For years, I would buy boxes of reeds, scavenging for the best reed I could find. And then finally, in a lesson with my teacher one day, after spending minutes of my time trying to find the best reed that would work for me, my teacher flat out told me there is no such thing as the perfect reed. After accepting the truth, I found myself having much more success in finding reeds I liked and that I enjoyed playing on. Tip 1, understanding the physics of a reed. How your reed interacts with your mouthpiece is by sitting on the table of the mouthpiece and by vibrating. Your reed vibrates against the table of the mouthpiece in the opening known as the tip opening of the mouthpiece, and the consistency of that vibration of this reed determines your tone. Long story short, good air support means good tone. You always want to make sure your reed is seated comfortably on the table of the mouthpiece as to avoid any squeaks or leaks. Tip advice number 2, starting small. In most cases, labeled on the box of reeds is a numbering system starting from 1 through 5 plus. This number indicates a reed's flexibility, not the thickness. A reed's flexibility is determined from the scale of 1, which can be almost paper thin, to a 5, which is essentially playing into a doorstopper. How flexible you want a reed is completely dependent on you as an individual. For example, when I play in a more symphonic or classical setting, I want to reed with a little bit less flexibility. I'll play somewhere around a 3 or 3.5. This kind of reed will give me a better precision of articulation and more of a stronger, richer tone. Whereas on the other hand for jazz, I want a reed that's a little less flexible. I'll select a number 2 or 2.5. This will allow my tone to be much brighter, much stronger, and project much further, and have a little bit of an edge to the sound. These are choices I have made through trial and error, through trying different brands and different flexibilities of reeds. And understanding that starting small and with your fundamentals is a huge factor in these decisions. When you start with your basic fundamentals, you develop a strong base for your playing. And when you develop a strong base for your playing, you can then start to develop your own personal playing. And that can be determined by what strength of reed you play, or your mouthpiece, etc., or the type of instrument you play. Tip number 3, working your reeds. As a part of growing older and becoming a more experienced player, you might consider starting to work your reeds. There are many tools you can invest in as a woodwind player to help work your reeds. Some of these tools can be simple house items such as sandpaper or knives, and some of these tools can also be very expensive ones you can buy off the internet. In such cases as the oboe or bassoon, you might need to invest in maybe a higher quality of tool, something that allows you to adjust and actually make your reeds. For a single reed player like myself, just simple house common items such as sandpaper can just do it. Just allowing myself to put the reed on the sandpaper and do about a figure-8 motion with it. And this can work for clarinet players too. And just stand the reed. But always remember one fact about a reed. You can take off as much reed as you want, but you can't put it back on. While it seems pretty cool to start working your reeds, be careful not to do this process too early. You need experience and advice from a teacher. For any real progress, you need to have a solid understanding of what you're looking for in a reed before you can even decide what kind of reed you want. Tip advice number 4, understanding you. It is very easy to become overwhelmed in today's society, to see what others do and to want to do the same. If you walk away with anything today, I want you to remember being you is the best thing that can ever happen. Don't rely on what your idols do, or what kind of brand of reed they play on, or what flexibility, or what model instrument for that matter. What works for another person may not work for you. And who knows, you might find that your own personal setup might be better. Always remember that your anatomy and your body will allow you to play on certain flexibilities of reeds better than others. And just because you're not playing on the flexibility you want, doesn't mean you can't get there. Practice can always help you get there. Understanding your body and anatomy will in turn make you a much better player and a much better musician and an all-around better person. To summarize it all, remember this. Number one, knowing the physics of a reed can vastly help you understand exactly what it is you're looking for in a reed. Number two, starting with the basics are what make great musicians. Don't be afraid to start small. Number three, once you feel you're ready, consider working your reeds, but don't be afraid to hold back. Number four, listen to you. Be the best possible you, and in turn, make the best music possible. Thank you so much for joining me here at NYO-U. Today we talked about how to find the perfect reed. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe anywhere. Thank you so much.